Hey everyone, I'm Brandon Iveen, and today I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for surviving COM 101. Let me begin. I didn't really want to take this course. I was petrified. I'm sure a lot of you were too. I mean, it's kind of a college student's worst nightmare to present in front of a class. And believe me, I've made presentations in the past, but it doesn't stop the constant leg shaking. And if I'm being honest, pretty much from the waist down, I'm completely numb when I'm presenting. It's bad. But after going through COM 101 and this experience, I have some pretty significant takeaways that I'd like to share with you guys. And I think that it might be helpful going forward for myself and for you in the future. Here are the 5 tips. Knowing your audience, dressing to impress, keep it simple, use effective visual aids, and develop ethos or character. To kick things off, knowing and understanding your audience can really make or break a presentation. And really, everything that you're doing when you're presenting, it isn't about you, it's about your audience. And I think that's the most important thing to keep in mind when you're presenting into a crowd of anybody. And it might be difficult to know your audience at first. When we did our first All About Me presentations and we were presenting who we are to the class, I was going to be sharing some pretty intimate details about my life, being my sexuality. Now, I didn't really know my audience all that much yet, but, if you use your common sense, you can get a feel for your audience before you even meet anybody. Knowing that it was a group of college students and we were all nervous and we were all talking about ourselves, I felt that knowing this and being able to deliver my intimate, personal details about my life was a little bit easier because I knew a little bit about my audience, and I knew that a lot of us weren't comfortable sharing about ourselves in front of people that we didn't know, but we all had to do it. So by knowing my audience that way, I was able to really deliver my material in a palpable way so that nobody felt uncomfortable or weirded out, because we were all kind of in the same situation. And that's how I see is knowing your audience, is understanding what you share as your commonalities between your audience, what are some of the common places your audience is used to, their beliefs, kind of doing a little bit of background research before making a presentation can kind of really make or break how it goes and how your audience receives you. So knowing the audience is number 1. Number 2, another simple one, dress to impress. I'm not dressed very crazy today. I put a nice cardigan over a long sleeve t-shirt. Now, I know that might not be the typical way that we dress for presentations, but again, we're all quarantined. This is the best I got. But dressing to impress can also make or break a presentation. You're the main focus of a presentation, regardless of the fact that all your material is being delivered to the audience. They see you before they hear you. And I think that's probably the most important aspect of a presentation, is being able to present yourself professionally, clean cut, no BS. I think that's kind of the way to go for any presentation, no matter where we are. If we're able to dress to impress, then it helps our audience kind of relate to us and see us as an authority of whatever information we're relaying to them. It's kind of like that idea of dress for the job you want, not the job you get. You may dress up all nice for a random COM 101 presentation, but it can make the world of difference for how people remember you. Sometimes if you dress professionally and kind of, put yourself out there in a fancy way, people are going to remember you, and they're going to remember listening to you because they remember the visuals. It's one of the most important things about a presentation is the visual aids. And that brings me to my other tip, using effective visuals. Not only are you a visual, but a lot of the times we use different things like PowerPoint and whatnot as visual aids. So when we're doing this, we have to make sure that we're not detracting from our information. Any visual aids that we use, like PowerPoint, Prezi, or even ourselves, shouldn't be detracting from the information that we're relaying. They should complement what we're giving to the audience. For example, when we did our visual aid presentations, I did a presentation with my group about global health crises, obviously, because it's kind of what we're living in right now. But we wanted to make sure that not only was our PowerPoint effective, but we didn't really have a lot of, meat in our presentation. There really wasn't all that much info. So we wanted to bring it to the next level. And that's where we combined the dressing to impress and using effective visual aids, because we dressed up like healthcare professionals. And now that's memorable and appropriate for the presentation. Being able to talk about global health crises dressed as visually as a healthcare professional made our material more memorable, more effective, and made us more credible. And I think that's how your visual aids should be. They should be memorable, and they should be able to help someone understand the material more. And also, when it comes to doing presentations, I really say keep it simple. We did the same thing when we did our global health crises presentation. We didn't have any crazy things that a lot of people weren't going to understand. We kept it simple, clear, and to the point. And look, I know it might be tempting to be fancy, and when you're passionate about something, you want to tell everybody every minute detail, but that kind of is a turnoff for your audience. Your audience is really going to remember clear-cut, simple phrases. Just kind of cut the BS when it comes to that. No fluff. Keeping it simple is one of the most important things in a presentation, and really I think that is kind of like what makes a presentation a knock in the park. And my final thing is a little bit more complicated, but I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. All of these things that you're doing, dressing to impress, getting to know your audience, keeping it simple, using effective visual aids, all helped develop your ethos. Ethos, I believe, which I look at and define as an appeal to your character, means everything to a presentation. When you're trying to appeal to your character, it's what people remember you most by. Not by the information or by the emotion behind things sometimes, but I really think the way that you present yourself and who you are is one of the most important aspects in a presentation. Developing your ethos or your character is what really can make you be a most credible and most successful presenter in a presentation. When I was doing my presentation for the, All About Us, the introductory presentation, kind of going back to what I was talking about at the beginning about knowing my audience, I also knew that when I'm presenting, and regardless of whether or not it's, a touchy subject like sexuality, I knew that the most important thing for me was being able to stay to my character and who I am. And that's what I believe is the most important thing in a presentation, because you guys got to see who I am come out in my presentation. And while it may be all about the audience and how they take your information, it also, you don't want to sacrifice your own personal character or change who you are to make things more easy for your audience to understand. There always needs to be an aspect of who you are trickling into your presentation. And I think for me, that's what ethos is all about. And because when people see you being personable and being true to yourself, they're going to remember that. So, to wrap things up, know your audience, dress to impress, keep it simple, use effective visuals, and develop your character and your ethos. And doing all those things is able to help you develop who you are and make you the most successful presenter. So now, we all might not have wanted to take Comm 101, but I really think that we're all better for it. Thank you for listening, and I wish all of you the best of luck. Thank you.